Hey, Derek.
Hey, Trey, welcome back.
Thank you, sir. We're going to tackle episode 46 of the Beyond the Curve DMX podcast after a quick trip to Birmingham, Alabama for the first time for the AMA Supercross Series. We're going to talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Sounds like a plan.
So, first of all, I want to give a shout-out. Dirtworks, my goodness. They turned what should have been a swamp into a very raceable racetrack. After qualifying, they bought out the water truck.
They looked good after qualifying.
Yeah.
I was kind of skeptical. But
Amazing.
It looked really like a nice track.
The times, the track got better and better. Rylan went out for a track walk and came back, and his boots looked like he had painted them from blue to red or orange, whatever you want to call it. By the second qualifying, the bikes were coming in almost clean.
Yep.
From first qualifying to second qualifying, the 250C guys had taken 7 seconds off their time.
That's crazy.
And that track looked like a mess. I know it didn't have whoops. Honestly, I don't miss not having a triple. The double looked cool. I mean, it really, the only thing missing to me was the whoops.
Yeah.
Because the rhythms were sketch. I mean, they were getting rutted and stuff.
Yeah, they were pretty gnarly.
And it's that they have really made the timing of rhythms this year really important. Really important.
Yeah, they're almost screwing the guys half the time because once the track breaks down, they're so hard to time.
Yeah. But there were different lanes. There were options, especially on the rhythm closest to the press box. There were some different rhythms that you could pop to make it go. The most interesting part of the track to me was the section right before they came back to the finish. There was this 353 triple and then on-off tabletop thing after the berm. The guys were getting to the point they could pop over the triple, but if you missed it, you messed up your corner, and it was very hard to stay low and cut down. But I found that section because that is a section where guys coming over that table across the start straight, some guys were just so fast. Some guys were like cruising through it, and some guys, that was like the most aggressive part of the track right there. But no, I thought Birmingham, great. I know some are saying the crowd was light. I will tell you the pit party looked amazing. The stadium is very nice. It's a college stadium, but it's very nice. The downtown area there was a Texas de Brazil literally across the street from the stadium. Top Golf, there's hotels, they're really revitalizing that area.
I seen the HBI team was at Top Golf, so I figured it must have been right there.
I mean, it's literally, you walk out the stadium and it's right there.
They have a pretty big floor, or was it? It's hard to tell on TV, like you could see, but
it's pretty compact. But I don't know if I mean, Dallas has a huge floor and it was short, so I mean, I think it's what they do with the floor. That would have been a short lap had it not been for that little chicane section, which they put in tracks before, which I thought was pretty cool. I mean, it's not a bad little section. But no, I thought for what it was and where it is, it's not a bad sell. And to me, it opens up some more non-major media markets. I still haven't figured out why we're not going out to like Idaho or Wyoming or Montana or some of these other places that
change it up a little bit.
There's a large crowd of people that are dirt bike riders that will travel.
A lot of them are from there. That area.
I had friends that came from Atlanta that we met up with. One of my former players and his wife, they actually made the trip to Birmingham to come to this race. So enough of all the accoutrements. I know there were hiccups, but they did a good job. It was indoor pitting. They had the semis inside. I know there were some hiccups getting the semis in and out and privateers, but really there was good space. I mean, it's not bad. I mean, it's about a 10-minute walk back to the stadium from the pits, but that was walking, you know. They were very strict. They did not want any dirt in the convention center, so the guys were required to wash their bikes as soon as they exited the track and then take the bikes back. So, and it did. It kept everything clean. But great time. I mean, a good event, a lot of fun. Rylan did not have his best showing. He looked better in first qualifying than in second. It's like he got a really good start in the fake start and then kind of lost his rhythm in the first corner, and then it was like he never could put a lap
Put it back together.
And he's upset with himself. He's gonna keep working on that. But yeah, I mean, but there was some good riding and there was some good racing. So
Good.
Let's dive into it, man. We got surprise winner in Heat 1.
Yeah, Heat 1 is where it all started.
There's a lot of conversation.
That's where it all started.
Now, I haven't seen the TV broadcast.
I did. I watched it all.
All we saw was the carnage.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the talk of the race. There's nothing else to really talk about. But yeah, Cody Schock, congratulations to him. Shock to the system.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
But he is a good rider. He deserved it. He went out. He led the whole thing. So I think it might have changed a little bit had other. I mean, we're going to dig into this because I got a lot to say. But yeah, Cody Schock. I'm honestly surprised he held off Cameron McAdoo.
Ooh, Cameron was coming.
Yeah, because Cameron is flying this season. He has it all put together. Like I said, Cody's a really good rider. He's kind of breaking out this season too.
Now he's breaking up, but
yeah, correct. Yeah, was.
Yes.
Put it as was.
Yeah.
Another unfortunate event that we will dive into. So yeah, congratulations to those guys. But right off the start, I'm not a fan of this at all. Yeah, obviously Hammaker gets into Deegan. Total accident, complete racing incident. The guy ran out of real estate. There was nowhere for him to go.
All of a sudden, there was a bike in front of him that wasn't there.
We look at every single angle, and there is nothing he could have done.
Yeah. Besides
go down himself, or, I mean, you could tell he tried to stop. Not stop, but slow down. I mean, they're all scrunched into a little corner.
And that was the longest straightaway of the year.
Yeah. I mean, they got a lot of speed.
In a very flat corner.
Yeah.
And there was, I mean, I'm not kidding. The track, at that end of the track, the wall was right there.
Yeah.
There was nothing, there was no runoff.
No, and they're carrying a lot of speed into that turn. So to get slowed down that much when a bike cuts in front of you, it's almost nearly impossible. Deegan, that throwing Hammaker's bike like that, obviously getting pissed off to begin with. I understand the getting mad.
Yeah.
You're having a terrible season as it is. It's misfortune after misfortune. But to yank his bike out of there and then chuck it when he's literally standing there made me so angry right off the bat.
We've seen that before from other people. Like, we have seen that before.
We have. I mean, it's not out of the ordinary. He's mad. Had it stopped there, I think it would have been okay. Yeah, obviously it was not something you should have done. That's not an ethical thing to do. But he's young. Yeah. So, that takes a big factor into it. But he got up. He didn't want to get into the LCQ, which I don't blame him. But like I said, the ethics of how he handled all of that was not appealing to me at all.
How do you feel about the after stuff? We're going to dive into the heat because of their carnage, there were some surprises in the heat.
I agree.
But how do you feel about him going to the pits afterwards and they're videoing him going to the pits?
That's what I was going to get into later on. Is I had it stopped with the throwing the bike. You got your anger out, whatever. Because Hammaker, you could tell, just bit his tongue. He walked away, grabbed his bike, picked it up, never said anything. And you could tell Deegan was yelling the whole time. I'd love to know what he was saying to him because they didn't. You couldn't hear that. Yeah. But I guarantee it wasn't TV worthy anyway.
Does he realize that it wasn't on purpose? Like, is there at some point today, Tuesday, does he realize it wasn't on purpose? I didn't mean to do that. You literally were not there, and then all of a sudden you turned left and you were
going back to the truck. You should have watched the footage before you walked your happy little ass over there. Yeah, and tried to cause a problem because he wasn't going over there to apologize for what he said on the track. Obviously, it was what Hammaker's mom was telling him to leave, and the mechanic was telling him to leave. So obviously, he was saying something as he was going over there that we couldn't hear. I think that was out of control, and he should have been fined more than he was for it. The AMA is really cracking down.
Well, this
year.
is his third one.
Yeah.
In 4 races.
Yeah, and they're really cracking down. You think it's going to get to a point where maybe they put some kind of suspension on him.
Yeah.
Or, you would think like 3 offenses and you miss a race or you miss 2 races. At some point they're going to have to implement something like that.
Well, he was not only that he was yelling at an AMA official.
Yeah.
He had a
and
rough night.
That's the one we'll get into because that was later. But yeah, he's screaming at riders, which is nothing.
That happens.
That doesn't bother me at all. That's racing. I have done it. I've went to people's pits. I've thrown a fit. But you're also a professional at a professional event loaded with cameras.
Yeah.
Like, you got to watch what you're doing. Brian Deegan is a hothead. And I just did a TikTok on this here a little bit ago, the whole fiasco. So he's an offspring of a hothead to begin with. You know that, to say it politely, that they're full of themselves. I mean, it's not a secret by any means. I guess I was trying to watch what I say, but it doesn't matter because the family's totally full of themselves. So you got Brian Deegan, who's still a hothead as it is. So obviously that's just going to keep carrying down. But this is different racing than when he was around. So I don't agree with anything that happened, and we're going to dive a little more into it here later on as we get into the main and everything. But I think something is going to have to be implemented where if you keep up behavior like this, then you're suspended for a certain amount of time. Or, I mean, the team's not going to bench him because that's money.
Yeah. Well, the team was already having their own struggles between him and Romano.
Yeah.
It's like they have 3 riders. All 3 of them are in the same heat. And the shining example of what you're supposed to do was Daxton Bennick.
Yeah.
And he motors along. Romano didn't do anything wrong. He got stuck in the carnage and had his own little issues. But he just is I feel like Romano is one of those guys like back in the old days of Bobby Reagan. He's getting his one shot, and hopefully he does something because it's not going perfect for him.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, if you have that big of a team and you have 2 factory Yamaha guys in the LCQ, there's problems.
Yeah, most definitely. And, like, Hammaker is, we said last week how quiet he is.
Yeah.
I mean, look at this whole fiasco. He is nowhere near it.
Yeah.
He said what he had to say, and he bit his tongue like a professional should do. He didn't say one single word about any of that.
Yeah, and he got barked at after the heat. He got barked at during the heat.
Never said a word. And there's no interviews, nothing about him or his take on it. It's just peace and quiet.
Yeah. And I don't know if Mitch was there this weekend, but they have pretty good infrastructure at a pro circuit, so I didn't see Mitch this weekend, and everybody was kind of in the same area, so I feel like it would have been pretty easy to run into him. But on a positive, there were some surprises. We talked about Cody Schock winning. That's shocking. McAdoo was coming. Daxton Bennick, who has these good, bad rides, he put in a good ride. And then we have the surprises of Henry Miller, Marshall Welton, Marcus Phelps, Brighton Carroll, the long-haired guy, and he is a little free on the bike. He
almost definitely.
He's very free, but he put it in.
But a 7th out of him is phenomenal.
Yeah.
He seems to ride well. He's got a lot of issues here and there, but a 7th is not something that I would expect out of him at all.
No, and then Ryder Floyd and Bryce Shelley. I mean, but Brighton, didn't mean to interrupt you. He is very free, but it seems like he's having a good time and he's riding well.
Yeah. I mean, whatever it takes.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody's their own rider. So we watched him a lot at Daytona, and he rides different compared to everybody else. You got like a Barsha who's really loose on the bike, but Carroll has a different. It's just different.
Yeah.
I don't even know how to explain it. Like you said, he's very, very free, very loose. Everything just kind of floats.
The one I'm going to touch on that didn't make it in was Jace Kessler. And I had the opportunity this weekend. He was pitted right at the entrance of one of the bay doors. And I think I mentioned on the last podcast in Dallas, where he was pitting out of a truck and a trailer.
Yeah.
Literally a 5x8 trailer, and he's got his friend that's a mechanic, and they did arena cross, they did supercross. He comes up here, and the kid, he's happy as can be. We got to actually talk to him for a couple minutes and just introduce ourselves, and so happy to be riding. Wants to keep riding, wants to keep pursuing it. And yeah, he's like, yeah, I got a box truck, but it's old. This is easy to do. They went to Daytona, did the whole Daytona thing, and then they went and hung out at WW for the week. And he's like, yeah, it was only like a 7-hour drive. And I'm like, that's a true privateer. It was only like a 7-hour drive.
Only 7 hours, yeah.
And he just missed qualifying straight out of the heat.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to get into a little bit later, just missing. But
we'll have to see if we can get him on here.
I'd love to. Seemed like a fun kid.
Somebody that's actually passionate, happy like that all the time, like a Max Anstey kind of feel.
Oh God, Max. Oh,
we'll get into that too.
And how about his team owner? I mean, but
it's terrible. But we'll definitely get into that. That's not for this one. But yeah, I'd love to get him on here sometime and just to hear about the journey.
Max Anstey is like they interview him and it's just like you're just kind of hung on the word because he's so excited too.
Yeah.
Like,
but his interview. I guess you probably didn't see it. You seen some anger out of him.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, rightfully so.
Yeah.
But we'll get into it.
I didn't have anything else for Heat 1.
No, me either. Okay. So we'll get into Heat 2 here.
Heat 2. I don't know if we're supposed to realize that maybe this kid's starting to figure things out because Daytona I thought was a fluke. It's kind of MXGP-ish.
Yeah, but he was unstoppable.
Well, I told Michelle, we're sitting there watching qualifying, and I told Michelle he and Anstey, they were laying down times.
Mm-hmm.
I told Michelle, I said, they're going to lose their advantage as this track dries out. They're going to lose their advantage because the two of them they were hitting stuff that other people weren't hitting, and they were just kind of feeling it. Well, the track dried out, and Vial did not lose his advantage.
No, I think I said last week, like something has clicked.
Yeah.
But like you said, last week Daytona was a very MXGP style. The ruts were gnarly, absolutely gnarly. That's the thing those guys live for. Him, Max Anstey, Roxon.
Yeah.
That type of rider is used to that stuff. But I watched Vial in qualifying, and I'm like, Jesus. Yeah. But then we still had a wet track at that point, so it all made sense that he was doing well.
He went down in practice.
Still doing well.
Straight. We were like straight shot at him, and I'm like, that's Vial, and he went off like boom, did the follow. I mean, Tomac went down in practice. I mean, in qualifying. So, but no, he leads from start to finish. I mean, it wasn't even close. He got the whole shot, came around the little S curve thingy, and boop, gone. And it was gone.
Yeah, and he did. I mean. It's just phenomenal, honestly. Like you said, it was still I think it was still a little damp in the heats, wasn't it?
A little damp, but very erasable.
Yeah. Much better than qualifying. But
smoothness counted.
Yeah.
But
it looked like it got really ruddy.
It did. It's weird. Some of the jumps were like this table, and some of the jumps were Daytona-esque. The faces. It was really in the pockets were.
Different dirt from different places, almost like a blue groove, and then then you had a real soft like sand.
And I don't know if that's where they where they scrape and
might
pull.
Have packed it in a little bit more or something.
But like the two big doubles were rock hard. The whoops, the rollers were kind of that rock hardest looking thing. The triple going into the right hander, leading back to the step on, step off. It got ready. The landing of the step on, step off. Dude, if you were not on the gas, there were so many guys that landed and either banked right or left just because of they land and go. And so there were sections that were super muddy is not the right word because it wasn't muddy. Grabby. How about grabby? I don't think that's a real word, but
sounds good to me.
I mean, I think that's something you do at Pure Platinum, but grabby. but no, I mean, Vial, he's staying clean. He's figuring it out. He's still – it's so funny because he's so very French, but I think he's having fun. But he is almost stoic on the podium. Like I'm very happy, but it's good. I'm gonna go have.
It's very great.
Yes, I'm gonna go have a brandy and my smoking jacket. And we'll do this again next week. It's kind of what it feels like.
He's just got a cool, calm vibe to him.
Yeah. Well, he is a world champion, so he's done this. Like
Supercross is not his thing, but it's become his thing.
Yeah.
But the next one, you have Pierce Brown.
I have to apologize. He stayed out of the Brown most of the time.
He did, but I mean, if we look at the points, he's there.
I know. He may not. He's not as quiet as Hammaker, but he's quietly.
I don't know.
In the points.
I was gonna say I'm putting him in the silent but deadly category this year because you don't really hear from him.
No.
We did get an interview out of him, but we haven't really heard anything from him this year. But there he is.
Yeah. It's weird, but I have to apologize because I joke about him not being able to stay out of the Brown, and he has his moments now where he's just smooth as can be.
Yeah, and it's working. I mean, consistent.
Yeah. Chance Hymas, I can't figure him out. First of all, I can't remember his number ever. For some reason, 48 does not seem like a Supercross number to me. I don't know why. It doesn't.
It's a different number.
It just doesn't ring, and it's like he's 48, and I'm like, who is that? Oh, that's Chance Hymas, and it's a Yamaha. It's a Honda factory guy in Fly Gear, and I know Fly is one of the top gear companies, but we've never had that. So
you just forget that HRC has an East Coast rider.
Yeah,
like it just, and it's weird because it's always been Jet and Hunter, and then now you're trying to put all the pieces back together. Obviously, I follow Chance Hymas pretty well, knowing that he trains with the Lawrence brothers and all that in Dade City. So, like I know of him a little bit more than the average person does. But it's just weird having that East rider.
And he's not flashy either.
No, he's quiet. Another quiet one. Kind of getting his reins and getting his teeth wet.
Yeah. But then we have Mr. Happy, Max Anstie. Didn't have the smoothest of, kind of started in the back and worked his way through. He and Swole were kind of like a nose to tail going. Swole, another solid. I mean, honestly, I'm actually impressed with what Swole is doing on a very unproven motorcycle.
Yeah, something very, very new.
I know it's this has been a 5-year process for Triumph, but to actually race it in racing conditions.
Well, and that coming from Husqvarna, I mean, it's not like he has had an abundance amount of time to get used to this thing.
Yeah, and it is different.
Yeah,
it's not a KTM.
It's definitely a different bike.
It may have similarities, but it's not. It's not normal.
I mean, it's got bits and pieces of everything.
Yeah, well,
so.
they all do. I mean, the new Kawasaki, I read reports, is the most Austrian Japanese bike they've seen. Brembo brakes, hydraulic clutch. So they're all taking the best from one another. And
that's how it's always been. I mean, back in like the 80s, or not the 80s, the late 90s, they kind of had their own bikes, except for Kawasaki and Suzuki. They were all the same bikes, but. It's as they progress and all this technology advances, they are all running the same thing. They just some of them feel a little bit different than others. That is it. And on the
Swole thing, this has nothing to do with Swole. This has to do with, the Triumph setup is just one of the cleanest setups there is.
I love their rig.
Their rig is beautiful. It's got the gloss black, and then they've got flat black for the logo. Oh, it's just.
There's the thing about it. It's so new that the paint is like crisp, and you wouldn't suspect this, but like the Star Yamaha truck has the rust bubbles, and it's not bleeding through, but you can tell that it was painted over, and they look so crisp and clean on TV, but they're not. These things are road warriors, so they're well abused.
Yeah, they're they always talk about when they have the weeks off, when they actually have to do the maintenance and stuff on them, because but the truck drivers, man, the unsung heroes, every single one of those rigs was spotless inside the pits. I mean, that's
a mandatory thing that they get those rigs washed before the races. So like that's part of their job is, on top of driving, and getting there, getting everything there, making sure it's there. They have to make sure the rig looks good.
Mm-hmm.
Everything's got to be clean inside. Like, that's all their duties.
And it's a full on gig. But no, Jalik Swole, enough about Triumph. Congratulations, way to put it in. I hear we're gonna get Evan back soon.
Yeah, I seen he was on a bike. I watched some videos of him riding today.
Jeremy Martin, it was respectable. He looked good. Kind of was there. And then for all of us, isn't it just, hey, Jeremy, stay healthy?
Yeah.
Kind
of
at
this point,
just stay healthy.
I can't believe you haven't hung up the towel yet.
Yeah.
But if you love it that much, there's no reason to stop. But then we bring in Hardy Munoz. Happy to see him get in.
I text Matt. We watched qualifying, and I text Matt, and I said, man, I have no idea how your heart takes the Hardy experience.
Yeah. Hardy's a wide open.
I mean, he's crashing. He's facing stuff. He's putting down good times. He's in. He's out. And I'm like, oh, good heavens. And Matt's like, yeah, man, the talent's there.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm just like, yeah, I'm watching. You're not here, and I'm watching, and I'm living this, and I have nothing to do with him.
Hardy is a guy that can literally case a triple, hard case a triple, like knows it. Shake his head and just keep going.
Yeah.
Someday he's gonna get smooth. He's smooth now, but just click it all together.
Yeah.
It's all gonna snap, and he's gonna be an animal.
He's fun to watch for probably the wrong reasons.
Yeah, I can probably say
like
that.
It's I don't want to say it's like waiting for the train to crash but you just know, like, if he's on it, you don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, watch out.
It could be outstanding, or it could be outstanding.
Yeah, like, so he rides, so I could see him top 5 easy if he puts it all together.
Yeah.
Like, he's that fast. I've watched him ride 100 times. He's very fast, very fluent, but he gets these minor. They're not all minor either.
Yeah,
That kid has taken some gnarly crashes, and he always gets right back up. Like I said, or was it Houston? I think when he got into it with Pappy. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And he literally cased the triple and just shook his head and kept going. Yeah. And then that's when Pappy hit him in the next turn. But he's mind blowing. Or some of his outdoor wrecks.
Oh yeah.
Jeez.
But then another congratulations for Aiden Shive putting it in the night show. And there was a point in I think it was the LCQ. I was like, oh my goodness, he's there. He was in fourth, and not quite there yet, but man, getting some great experience. Actually, when you're up there, you can't help but get that experience. So,
yeah.
Anything else for Heat 2?
No, that was pretty quiet. I see Pappy got last.
Yeah.
I don't know something happened to him though.
I don't remember. He only made 3 laps.
Yeah, so. I seen those two. Him and Hardy lined back up, and I'm like, oh, here we go. But then he bailed out pretty quick.
We'll go to 450 Heat 1. I somehow got out of order. That's all right. 450 Heat 1. I think they figured out the bike. They haven't figured out the bike. I think they figured out the bike. They haven't figured out the bike. Or is it just that start dependent that it is what it is? Because Shea Sexton, I mean, he destroyed everybody.
I really think that this year it's so competitive that it literally boils down to starts.
And by the way, he did a 52.7 lap.
Yeah. If you don't get a start this year and you end up getting buried in the pack, it's just so difficult to come back up.
Yeah.
Like Sexton, he will get buried. He'll get like an 8th somewhere in there, and then he'll get back up there, but like you are fighting. You're dog tired by the time you get up through the pack, and
that's Jason Anderson's mantra this year. He's just going to fight through the pack.
But he's good at he's like a Tomac when it comes to bulldozing.
Yeah.
So
we're going to talk about that a little bit because that was an interesting dynamic that occurred in the main. I don't know what happened again, but there was signs of that. But yeah, Sexton. I mean, he gets the start, and it's just like, okay,
see you
later.
Yeah.
I mean, he had a 4-second gap at the first lap.
Mm-hmm. And he ended it with damn near 11-second gap in a heat.
Yeah.
That's wild.
With Jason Anderson and Malcolm Stewart, Justin Barsha had a good showing. Did they figure something out?
He looked a lot better.
Did he get new parts?
So I got some speculations about Barcia while we're on this topic. Bam Land is now for sale.
Yeah.
His goal after Supercross, so retirement, is move to Europe. His wife's from Europe.
Yeah.
So now you got a lot of speculations. Is it coming to an end? I thought maybe after this year it was coming to an end anyway, but he's in what, a 2-year deal?
Yes.
But I mean, he wants to retire. He wants to retire. I don't know if he's. I'm starting to wonder if he's that fed up with the bike that I'm done. You know.
Yeah, but he looked good on the bike this weekend.
Yeah, but then he comes out this weekend because Bamland went for sale last week. So I try to wrap my head around it all week long.
Yeah.
Try to figure out how I can afford Bamland, and then then he comes out and he does. He looked great, way better than how he has, because Daytona he should have shined. That's a Barcia experience there, but he looked terrible, absolutely terrible. He probably wasn't even worthy of the 250 class last week on a 450.
Yeah.
But then he like you said, he comes out this week and he looked like Justin Barcia.
Yeah, and I know he ended up further back, but we haven't seen him at the top of a heat race in a long time.
I agree. He looked a lot better. So I don't know. I hope it sticks, because his season's pretty much over at this point anyway. He's so far down in the points, and he has pretty much ruined himself. I don't even want to say that he has ruined himself, because I know him and the bike are not jiving. But
there has been some talk between the new gas is basically what KTM was dealing with last year.
Hey, maybe they went to a 23 frame again.
I don't know. I mean, paint job can hide a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, you still can't put lipstick on a pig. It's still a pig, but if you get a different pig, maybe that works. And I don't really have much else on this one. Dylan Ferrandis did Dylan Ferrandis things, qualified straight in. There is some exciting things beyond qualifying that will some of these guys who didn't make it in, they have some excitement in the LCQ.
Yeah, they put on a show later on.
Yeah, Ty Masterpool, he had a big one in the heat race, and
and what a start!
Yeah.
And then obviously he dumped it and lost it.
And they
cross-rutted.
And I don't know if something broke, because something did come off the bike.
Broke his clutch lever off.
Okay, that's okay. We saw something come off the bike, but I don't know if that was the transponder or something came off too, because something big black came off the back of the bike, or off the bike, and it rolled down, and then little Dig Dug went out and got it. And
no, it wasn't him that broke his clutch lever off. It was Cole Bradford.
Oh, okay.
In qualifying, he broke his clutch lever off. Ty, with that cross rut, he looks so good. I was waiting for him. Like,
he must have twisted the front. Yeah, he must have twisted the front or something, because I think what broke off was either the light box or the transponder box.
Okay.
I think, because those are about the right sizes, because the bike was still going, and there's no way he was jumping if something else was off the bike.
It's so cool to see these HBI bikes pull whole shots, or anywhere near whole shots, even on the factory bikes.
Yeah, and if you get a chance, go listen to Matt. He doesn't really do them often. I think he's going to start doing them, but he did a little synopsis of their weekend of HBI. So if you get a chance, go to the HBI page and listen to his synopsis. He gives pretty much a heartfelt, like, hey, this is what we did, and this is what we're doing. So, but it's the little privateer team that could. I mean, but yeah, there's not much. We'll talk about some of these other guys as we get into the LCQ, because there was some excitement for them, but yeah. The story is Chase Sexton. He 10-second lead, just
dominated it.
There was a race that happened from second to 8th or 9th, but not with him. And then, okay, cool. Eli. I mean, Chase goes out and does his. Eli goes out, and it's like, all right, cool. Eli's got the lead. Lawrence is kind of back in the pack, I think, a little bit. And, all right, Eli's going to get another heat win. He looked good. He looked aggressive. He was riding. And damn it, man, this little kid, this young guy, he wants it all.
Mm-hmm. I mean, he's worthy of it.
Oh, yeah.
I don't care the backlash that they're getting, that kid is phenomenal.
They're bringing. I saw so many Lawrence T-shirts at the races. Dude, they have 2 semis. They have a VIP thing. They meet with people on Friday night. You can buy a package and get a watch. You get they have forced the hand of Kawasaki and Star, and they're all doing it. Well, guess what that does? That draws in people who want an experience.
Yeah.
Maybe they don't care about racing. They want an experience. Yeah. It's the show in town.
The people will skip vacations to do VIP kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Or that is their vacations, They'll spend crazy amounts of money on that stuff. It's wild. But
is it pricey? Yes, but go to an IMSA race or go to a NASCAR race and go to a VIP experience.
But they're bringing back what was kind of lost.
Yeah. The box van in a semi where you can sit and talk with them.
Yeah. Like, they're racing at one point, you could just go chat with the riders and, do that kind of thing. Now, obviously you're paying to do that now. From a fan standpoint, it's different. Like, you and I can walk up to the garages while we're in there and talk to them. But you bring in these fans, that's how it draws more in. You get this generational talent who's also offering a chance to come meet them.
Yeah.
I see them a lot.
Hang out and have
even
dinner.
outside of the races, I see the Lawrence brothers at Dade City all the time. So it's nothing for me, but you get these young kids that my kids see them all the time too, but they'll see them at the races and they're just mind blowing. Like,
there was another shirt this weekend. A little girl had made the Lawrence T-shirt and had a smiley face on. I'm like, I love when I see these self-made ones. Like, you're getting into real fandom when
I seen a girl probably pushing my age and said Hayden Deegan's future wife.
We should call her Lady then. Lady.
My bad. Sorry, I'm improper. They said like future Mrs. Deegan or something like that. And he signed it. He was on camera, him signing it, and the whole 9 yards.
Hey,
but
and there's going to be fans that there were fans that liked Dale Earnhardt. There were fans that liked Richard Petty. There were fans that liked Jeff Gordon. Most of the fans that liked Jeff Gordon didn't like Dale Earnhardt, and vice versa. Well, guess what? There's going to be people that like Deegan. There's going to be people that like Jet. And there's going to be people that hate both of them.
Oh yeah, I've seen some diehard Deegan fans this week. Just social media with all the backlash that's going on. Like, yeah, he had every right to do what he did, and no, he didn't. Not by any means. Like, you obviously are just a crazed fan because there's logistics behind all this, and that's not okay.
According to AMA, he did not have the right to do that. But
exactly, you don't get a fine for doing the right thing.
Yeah, but no, congratulations, Tomac. He looked good. I was like, okay, and he even talked about getting starts and riding through. Jet was coming though. Ken Roxon, another quality performance. Now he was 8 seconds back, but he was not being pushed for that third in the heat. Cooper Webb just doing Cooper Webb thing. Cooper Webb has a little bit of a fun story as we get into the main, but maybe he was practicing his inside move.
Could be
before the main, knowing what was coming. The Cowboy looked a little off all night.
He has been, ever since he's lost the red plate, things have been a little shaky.
Yeah, and maybe it's he hasn't been in that position.
He just lost. He had all the confidence, and then it's kind of just stripped away, I guess. I don't know if it just playing mind games at this point, maybe.
And then AC, we got the news this week. This is it for AC this year.
Yeah.
It's sad, but
which is crazy because he is young.
Yeah.
But he does battle a lot of. He's got a lot of injuries he's battling.
But I also think he has his shit together. He's got his life together. He's not going to go broke.
No, and he's got a lot going on.
Yeah.
Outside of this world. Well, it's not outside of this at all, but within the.
I'm trying to figure out whose job he's going to take in the industry because he's going to take someone's job.
Oh yeah.
Because he's well spoken. He's well versed in the history of the sport.
Yeah.
He cares about the sport. He's just not going to race it.
Yeah, he's definitely it's not the end of him.
No.
You're going to see him all the time.
Yeah, he's going to take someone's job.
And it's going to be with Pro Circuit Kawasaki. Guaranteed.
You think so? Oh, I think he's going to be on TV.
That's possible.
I think he'll be on TV.
It's possible. I mean, you have if you look at it, Trey Kennard, prime example, phenomenal rider, my all-time favorite rider. He hangs up the towel. Very, very humble guy. There's nobody more humble than him. Very well spoken, preacher, whole 9 yards. You would picture him in a position like that, and he's part of the HRC team.
Yeah,
huge part of the HRC team.
Yeah. I mean, they're shipping him to Japan to ride electric bikes and stuff. So.
He's a huge part of it. I tried to get the opportunity to sit down with him at Daytona a little bit. He was so busy. So busy. I talked to one of the HRC guys, and I'm like, tell Trey to come out for a minute. And he's like, yeah, he's up in the office. I'll go get him. But he literally so busy. But, yeah, it's same concept. I truthfully, Trey was on Honda for a long, long time. Adam's been on Cowie's forever.
Yeah, since he was a little kid on 65. Just,
forever.
Yeah.
So I do think that he will have a big part of Pro Circuit Kawasaki. But we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. How about Beta? Colt Nichols is back. The good-looking man is back. And by Jokey, he just decided, you know how I'm going to get into you know how I'm going to do this? I'm going to follow my teammate all night long.
Yep. Stay right on him.
And he did. I mean, I will say, I was impressed. Like, he didn't try to overdo it. He was never first in qualifying. He was in Group B because he hadn't raced, so he was in Group B. He never qualified first. He was second both times in the Group B. Mm-hmm. Gets in, and then he's just like, you know what? Benny's a big guy. He's been doing this. Let's see how the bike works, and I'll just follow him. And lo and behold, they followed each other all night long.
Yeah. Yeah, it worked.
So
put him right through.
And then
after being gone for quite some time.
And then Kyle Chisholm, what can we say? I mean, the guy can barely walk, and he's just putting it in Maine. But the one that I wanted to get to was Anthony Bourdon. This guy is, congratulations. I mean, was it Bar X Suzuki? They're like, hey man, you want to go race 450 while we're on break? And he hasn't succeeded. This weekend he's 10th in the heat, and it's like, dude, I can't believe on the 250 how good he is, and on the 450 he is struggling a little bit.
Yeah,
we'll talk about him a little bit later. But anything catch your eye on that? So we'll move to the LCQs. Look at my organization. I'm going to get a folder. LCQs, the debacle that occurred in Heat 1 is going to lead to one spot available for a privateer.
Mm-hmm.
One spot. Except there were two.
Mm-hmm.
Because I cannot imagine being Mr. Romano and having to walk back to the hauler and not putting it into the main.
Yeah, it was rough.
Ooh.
I would say that he probably feels like a Deegan at that point, but after everything that happened already,
there's already some feistiness happening.
Yeah, you can't imagine how just the team felt, let alone, they're already dealing with enough, especially after you get Hayden that's going off over to the Pro Circuit truck and trying to throw fits, and then you get one of your riders that didn't even come close.
No. It was not good. But then Seth Hamaker comes out, and as you said, he just kind of took care of business. Ends up winning the LCQ by 9 seconds, almost 10 seconds.
Yeah, and that kind of showed Deegan.
Yeah, but I'm going to give Deegan, we've been digging on Deegan. Dude, he was just going through the paces and still, was destroying everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, he pulled up, and the big double before they crossed the start-finish line, he was standing up like a trail rider and just cruising. And honestly, I thought, okay, he is saving it for the main.
He, like you said, we were digging on him. He played the LCQ very smart.
Yeah.
He didn't go out. I do believe there was some lashing that happened after the heat. So he probably did get a lashing, but he played it smart. He went out there. He didn't battle with Hamaker. They lined up side by side, right?
I couldn't tell.
I think they were a couple bikes apart. Regardless, it doesn't matter. They played it smart, did their thing, because Hamaker was way on the outside. On Yeah, in the LCQ, and
Yeah.
then he ended up being way outside in the main too, and he pulled the whole shot from the outside, which was phenomenal.
Yeah, because it was. I mean, like I said, it's very hard to impress how tight that area was down there in that corner.
And it's really hard to explain if you've never been on a track, I guess, of that nature, to pull a start the whole way from the outside when you're racing the best guys in the world. So for him to do it at that level, because he did it twice, just nailed hole shots.
I think Hammaker was almost practicing racing there. Deegan was just like, I just need to put it in the main. And you could tell by the riding style, because Hammaker pretty much was, I don't know if he was hammer down the whole time, but he was putting in laps.
I'm going to guess once Deegan seen that Hammaker was out there, because in the first lap he was like 2 seconds ahead.
Yeah.
I think that Deegan was smart enough to realize that, he's in a position, he's far enough ahead that just calm it down.
Yeah, they had a big gap. And congratulations, Dominique Thury. I mean, that's pretty solid. He's a guy that had a ride last year. He for Team Solitaire on the West Coast, and this year they parted ways, and he's kind of in and out like a lot. And this weekend, he put it in, and that Team PRMX Partzilla team, congratulations. That's good.
Yeah.
And Logan Leitzel, dude, that's a name like he's been there before, but it's like not all the time. And then we have our Brock Pappy, who just outside. But the name I want to get to is poor old Jace Kessler. It's the last lap. Jace Kessler is in fourth place. He had worked his way up from like 6th or 7th to fourth, like passing people. Actually gets into fourth, and I'm like, I just want to see this kid make it. He's great conversation. You're kind of cheering for him. And I know, like, he really shouldn't get nervous because he was racing Arena Cross and made money. He made it into, he was 14th at Daytona last weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, he knows how to do this. Dude, that right is the rhythm down the far side is a slick 90-degree corner, and he cased the last jump, got sideways, and I'm like, we're sitting there, and I don't really cheer when in the industry, and I'm like, no! I don't know the kid, but I felt so bad because he also won that award where if you make it to the main, not only do you get the $1,000, you get an extra $1,000.
An extra $1,000, yep.
And I'm like, oh my God, what a payday! He's going to make the money from the purse. He's going to get this $1,000. He's going to get the bonus. What a nice payday for a true privateer guy. And he just biffed it. And he knew, like, there's no point. Like, he finished 13th. There's no point in even trying at that point because you got caught and passed it. It's all over, and you're not going to make it. But no, I just wanted to give him a notice. We really enjoyed talking with him. Nice kid. Crappy circumstance, but and
it sucked for Aiden Shive too because he was out there and had it. Like, he had it.
Yeah, he was in the top group early in the heat.
Yeah, right off the bat.
Yeah, another good start from an HB engine.
Those things are, I'm telling you, they're a force to be reckoned with. But he was, like I said, he was right there the whole time, and then it just slowly everybody kept creeping by him. I don't know. If he ended up getting arm pump or tightened up.
It's one of those things. I used to tell it to my players. I can give you all the advice you want, but in order to win, you have to learn how to win.
Yeah.
And for some of these guys, you want to get in. You have the speed. You can do it for 3/4 of an event. But to finish it off, to win, to put it in the main, is a whole different level. And it just takes time. Some guys figure it out. Some guys never figure it out, and it becomes the battle. But right now, I think for him, getting consistently into night shows is a good first step. So we'll see. But yeah, this Jorgen Talviku, he has been racing for a long time. I think he's from Estonia, and I think he used to race against Jason Thomas. I think. But there is an Estonian that has been racing a long time. Their kit was pretty solid. I don't know who made their kit, but it almost looked like Evel Knievel.
I didn't even notice. That's cool.
It was pretty cool. I don't know if that was on purpose or if that was just the gear they were wearing.
Yeah.
But 250 LCQ, big names succeeding, big names not succeeding, and anything else?
No, like I said, I hope, see if we can't get Jace Kessler on here and have a chat with him.
Then we get into the 450s. John Short, he gets off of the Beta, back onto his homemade. I mean, it's not homemade Kawasaki. I joke, but his privateer Kawasaki,
Self-built.
2 mains in a row.
Yeah.
And goes out and wins the LCQ. Not even just put it in, he wins it.
I'm sorry, he looks better on the Cowie.
Yeah.
He does.
Yeah. Freddie Noren. How about Freddie Noren? This guy has become like the stalwart of, I'm not really that great at Supercross, but I'm going to be here every weekend.
Yeah, I'm going to put it in.
Yeah. I'm going to be there. I may not have a great finish, but I'm going to be there.
Oh, he didn't get that 2-digit number for nothing.
No.
So.
And then Aaron Tonti from Australia, he is a Supercross champion over in Australia. And he had a huge crash. Was it last year or this year early where he was out for a while? Kind of cool to see him. And it must be weird for a guy like from Estonia or Australia to be like, hey, you know where I'm gonna go to race Supercross in America? Where are you racing? Birmingham, Alabama. Is that a city? Where is that?
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's
Never
just,
heard of it.
Yeah, it's not like going to Daytona or Detroit or Dallas or
Anaheim.
It's Birmingham.
Yeah.
But no, congratulations, put it in. Anthony Bourdon, this guy finally, with however many East rounds he's done, he has failed, and that plug away, and he put it in the show.
Consistency, man.
And I hope that helps him as he moves back to the West Coast for some more Supercross. But not really. I don't know what's going on with Cade Clayson, man. Cade Clayson has been, for 2 years, a main event guy.
Yeah, he should be there. You're not going to hear much about him. I'd like to know what we got, mindset, bike problems, what's going on, because he's not there at all. He's quite a ways off. There's been a couple close calls, but not close enough. Not normal.
Yeah. Devin Simonson was the guy that had the chance to get the bonus 1,000 in the 450 class. So whoever's sponsoring that, they got away with a couple extra 1,000 this weekend because neither one of the guys qualified.
Yeah.
I know they don't care. They'd probably rather give it away, but it's just funny. Ty Masterpool looked good for a while in the LCQ. Just did not get a start and got squeezed in. And we all know this is not Ty's bread and butter, is not Supercross. So for him to be getting beat by some of these guys who only do Supercross, I really can't say anything. He's not. His 29 did not come from Supercross. Kind of like Freddie Noren. Freddie Noren didn't get 22 from Supercross.
Well, what's mind-blowing is much success as he's had, this is actually his first Supercross season.
Yeah.
He's a rookie. So I know like there's so much hype around him, but this is really all new.
Yeah.
I think he's eventually going to put it all together. As fast as he is, I mean, when you're smoking factory guys in outdoors, at some point you're going to figure this out.
Yeah. Hope so. It's just hopefully he doesn't get frustrated with it and he's being safe, because I know that, there's a lot of history that goes back for that. So hopefully he's being safe. Josh Cartwright, the guy with a full-time job, missed it. But, dude, can you imagine you work Monday through Thursday, hop on a plane, you're still working on Friday, and I'm going to go try to qualify Saturday for a Supercross, and I'll be back at work on Monday.
Yeah.
But the guy's, he's living the dream.
It's working. Jared Lesher, he's from about 45 minutes where I'm from.
Oh, okay.
Originally, he obviously we rode around him a lot. He's out there hitting the old two-banger.
Yes.
Still tugging away at it.
Yeah, and it's funny. He was the only one this weekend, and it was like, at one point I thought I heard it. I'm like, ooh, I think someone lost a pipe. Oh, no, that's actually a two-stroke out there.
He out there hammering on it. He's pretty religious at it. He's still running it.
And he put it in the night show.
Yeah.
I mean,
he's really quick. Like I said, he's from where we're from. I rode with him, rode around him, been around him a lot, and it's he's always been very fast.
Yeah.
And it shows.
But no, it's so the mains are set, and boy, I almost feel like, well, they both had their moments, so we'll just go with it. So 250 main track is probably primo right now. It looks good. let's drop the gate. By the way, that is one of the coolest things. The girl goes out, holds the card, and it's like, drop the gate. I don't care who you're. That's cool. And
That's fun. His voice is
that's amazing.
insane.
I just can't. From Cortez, Colorado.
Yeah.
Eli Tomac. And you're like, boom. It's like, whoa. Like, you can't help but get excited.
Oh, yeah. It's goosebumps.
I don't know how he doesn't.
Exactly. That's where I think I said that last week. If I did that, I would be hacking up a lung.
So, really, congratulations, Tom Vial. You started in the lead. You led the whole race. Boring. Let's move on.
Yeah, start to finish. I
Yeah.
mean, he cleaned house.
He had the perfect weekend. Oh,
Yeah.
I guess he didn't qualify first.
No, he did not.
Not
but
have the perfect week. He almost had the
it's
perfect
close
weekend.
enough.
Yeah.
I mean, for him, I bet it was a perfect weekend.
What's funny is he started first. He did not get the whole shot. Jeremy Martin actually got the whole shot. And I'm like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
And then Jeremy kind of...
Dwindled off a little bit, but
that's
it was
okay. That's fine.
It was not. I mean, it wasn't any time at all before Vial was right there.
Vial led at the green flag at the start-finish line.
Yeah.
And that was it. But what about these PC guys, man?
Mm-hmm. Just clicking it off.
Seth and McAdoo.
Those two are on fire.
They're just on it.
And they're very comparable in speed.
Yeah. They ride a little different. You can tell. Tell.
I mean, you know who's who, but
Yeah.
the program this year is on point.
Yeah.
Because they've always been very fast, very efficient, but this year it's all of them. The whole team is on point. Levi Kitchen, the whole 9 yards.
They look good. The bikes look good. They don't seem to be struggling too much. I know they've had their issues, but it's Supercross. It's close quarters. It's like boxing on this table. I mean, it's just
you're gonna wreck. Your balls are gonna hang out. I mean,
yeah.
It doesn't matter. But
you're gonna get towed by another bike.
I don't care what happens. You're gonna wreck in Supercross. So you're gonna have issues. I don't know anybody that runs a clean race.
No,
ever in Supercross. It happens. It's it's the nature of the game. So they look fantastic this year. The whole team. Anderson, Sansarillo, Levi Kitchen, Faulkner was on fire.
So which one's quieter, Hamaker or Brown? Because they finished third and fourth.
It's pretty close.
Do you think they were like?
They were probably whispering when they were going by
buddy.
each other.
Good job. I mean,
don't let the camera see it.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's wild to me how off media they are, because they are very. I mean, they're the Cooper Webb of the 250s.
Yeah,
they really are. They're a force to be reckoned with. I think that if Pierce Brown can stay out of the brown, he's going to be in the title.
I wish TLD would make some brown gear. We put him in the brown.
Yeah. I think they're probably trying to stay away from that. But no, I don't know. Those two both. It's pretty equal playing field to me, but they're both right there. So, what's Pierce Brown's down 5 points?
Yeah,
not much.
No, and he's right there. I mean, but did you think that Tom Vial would be leading the point? I mean, I can honestly tell
you never would have expected that.
No.
But then, did you ever think that Pierce Brown would be in third?
No,
because you don't hear about him. Like I said, it's so quiet. But then, he's one win away from taking the points lead.
Yeah.
So, I'm anxious to see how this plays out.
It's just, and it's just he's quietly doing it. And I'm hoping I can say I apologized. I'm hoping that this is a new Pierce Brown, and we've seen him in the ground. We've seen him on the ground. We've seen him on the ground. But the consistency of finishing the races and getting the points is way different than what we've seen in the past.
Yeah.
So maybe this is the new Pierce Brown. He went and did some quiet time in Utah and enjoyed, took in some fresh air, and
he's very deserving of a championship.
Yeah. No, I like Pierce Brown.
Yeah, I'm waiting for it to happen.
Yes,
and I think the chances are very, very high right now.
But he gives you stuff to talk about.
Yeah.
But when he doesn't, we still talk about him because we're like, dude, he's quiet.
Yeah.
He and Hamaker, they're just like, they're just taking care. They're being, as you said, professional.
Yeah.
They're just being professional.
That's all it takes.
Congratulations, Jeremy Martin. A fifth. I feel like a fifth for him
It's good.
is really good.
Yeah.
Really good. And Jalik Swole, dude, the guy's, when he finishes, he's finishing well.
Yeah, as long as he can keep it all together.
Yeah.
You know, he does fantastic. We get into the Deegan and Shock incident.
Okay. I'm going to give you my take. Shock, because I was where we were sitting, we had a great view of the last turn. By the way, that last turn, you could go outside. Once they cut that inside line in, the aggressiveness of the acceleration going through that berm was unbelievable on the inside. They were just laying bikes over, and just the trust that they're not going to leave the track, hook up and go over that turn. I loved watching that turn because the aggressiveness of them getting in there, laying the bike over, and taking off. It was like, Anstey made 2 or 3 passes taking that line and just railing and cutting off the guy on the outside. But last lap, Cody is leading Deegan. You can see Deegan coming, chopping bits and pieces off. But the last lap, I don't know if Cody got nervous, got out. I mean, I can't imagine that these guys still feel that way, you know, just because they've done it so often. But he made a mistake on the triple right-hander on-off. And I'm like, oh, boy, go to the inside, washed out a little bit and did not get to the inside. And I'm like, oh, no. Well, a block pass is one thing because Deegan saw that he messed up. Block pass, cool, man, cool. You got him. Well, all of a sudden, he was gone. Like, gone.
Yeah.
And Deegan goes, I've never heard Deegan get booed. Deegan got booed.
Okay, my take.
Okay.
You got to see it. So, obviously, I'm watching it from Spider Cam, looking down. Deegan had every opportunity to take that low. I get it. It's the last lap. But why are you fighting so hard at this point? You're 9th. Yeah. Or whatever.
It was going to be
wherever he was at.
It was going to be it was going to be 7th, I think.
Somewhere in that neighborhood.
Yeah.
I get positions, points, payout, money, whole 9 yards, but you didn't have to hit him. You know how much speed you're carrying in there. Like you said, he's seen the mistake. So you know you're right there. Yeah. You still have a little bit of time to make the pass. If you know you're coming in that hot, you're going to pass him anyway. You have more speed than him. All it took was a little mistake, and you're right there. Why hit him? Drop down a little bit low. Like you said, I can understand running him out, but to just hit him, I guarantee there's an excuse that I couldn't. I just couldn't get slowed down. He turned into me.
I missed the break.
Exactly. You didn't miss anything. Like before even entering into that turn, you should have dropped down just a little bit. So you saw him bobble. You were lucky that. I mean, he's lucky he didn't take them both out. Yeah. Because he hit him so damn hard. Totally uncalled for. I think he just took his anger out. He's in 8th or 7th or wherever he was at. He's already mad because he's doing terrible. So he's mad from the day. He's mad from the position he's in. So let's take it out on Cody. I mean, it adds to my frustration on the night anyway to see that because Shock already had a cracked collarbone from Daytona. Deegan probably didn't know that. Doesn't matter. But now the kid's out for the season because of your frustration. And I guarantee there was no sympathy on that.
They're probably pumped because he worked so hard to get that other position.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's no sympathy coming out of the Deegans for doing that.
That shows heart. That shows heart.
Yeah, it's just like I said in the TikTok today, I'm like, the kid's good. There's a lot of speculation that his dad got him to where he is, and he didn't. The kid's got grit. He's got determination. He just needs to grow the hell up.
Yeah. Maybe be his own person.
Yeah, he's now 18 years old. It's time to grow up a little bit. If you're going to be the face that you want to be, you're not starring on YouTube anymore.
Yeah.
You are now on, live broadcast television in front of millions of people. It is time to man up.
You can't edit that shit.
Yeah, exactly. You don't have a professional.
We see it.
You don't have a professional out there behind a computer fixing the things that you did. So this is live. All these, not all of them. A lot of these other guys aren't professional. They understand that they're in a professional sport and you're a professional athlete. You have kids that look up to you. It's just not a way to act. I hope that he's now got a stick up his ass, and maybe it will change him. But I don't see that happening. But let's get off of that topic because it is ridiculous. It should have happened. Never should have happened. None of it should have. The whole night should not have went like that. But the worst part of the 250 heat or main was Max Anstey.
Oh yeah,
that's the talk.
Yeah, he looked good, and all of a sudden he comes around the corner and just stops.
Dead. Bike was done. So you have to speculate that he knew it was coming because get the mechanic that runs over there. He's like, it's done. It's done.
Yeah.
It's done. So obviously there was some issues going on during the race. Probably heard some clunking and chattering, and it just died on him. But that sucks because that took him out of it right then and there. Like I said, his interview. You need to get on there and try to watch his interview because I've never seen him mad. It's always so happy. And he's the fact that he took the interview. Yeah. JT ran over to him and got him, and you could see it on camera that JT's telling the cameras to get over there. So they went over, they got him, and he's like, I can't say what I want to say on TV. It's I'm mad, and he just goes on and on, and he talked for a good 2 minutes. Yeah, it was crazy, but like I said, I've never seen him mad. You need to watch it. Anybody that hasn't watched it, go watch it. You'll see a mad Max Anstey, and it's terrible. I hate to see that, but it's the name of the sport. So.
But the fact that he was willing to do the interview,
it just shows the heart that he has for it. I'm not going to dig on anybody else. We've already done it enough. But there's a few set guys that are not going to do that. Yeah, they're going to brush that right off.
Real quick, congratulations to Hardy Munoz. He's had some rough mains, but to put it in 13th, good job. Yeah, good job.
I see some top 10s coming out of him real soon.
If he could maintain the pace for the entire 15 minutes, I'm looking from the outside. Mm-hmm. I'm just watching as a casual observer. He can put in laps, and then he kind of resets, and then he puts in some laps, and then he resets, and then he gets a little space, and it's kind of like, oh, okay, I'm ready to go again, and he goes and
puts on a drive.
Yeah, and I wish he could do that for the entire 15 plus one, and I'd like to see what he could do because I think a top 10 would be huge. That would be huge. Yeah, and there is that potential there.
It's definitely there, and I think before the end of the season, I mean, it's quickly approaching, but I think we'll see one, at least one.
But no, other than that, we got a tight points battle. Tom Vial with a 1-point lead over Cameron McIndoe, Pierce Brown, and quietly in third. Hayden Deegan, Cody Schock were tied. And then Seth Hamaker, he's a little bit out, but he and Daxton Bennick are tied. Daxton Bennick's another one who's just quietly kind of doing his thing. Yeah. And poor Max Anstey, that was just devastating for him. Any chance of winning is over, but he can still have a good season. We'll see what happens. But yeah, it's the points. I mean, we go to Indy this weekend. It's a triple crown, so we'll have a lot of gate drops. Yep. On some marshmallow potential soil.
I'm actually anxious for the Triple Crown. I'm just kind of break it up a little bit.
Yeah, still not my favorite, but I get it. I mean, they race in short tracks and ovals and street courses and different things, so I get it. Why not have a little variety with Supercross?
Change it up. So.
Yeah. But nope. So we have the excitement of the 250. It's like, okay, cool, great. Let's go ahead and let's start the excitement right off the bat in the 450s. Jet goes out, by the way, qualifying for these guys, you want to talk about a throwdown session. Jet Lawrence looked like he was fit to be tied during qualifying. He couldn't get a rhythm. He couldn't get a time.
Mm-hmm.
Then all of a sudden, he's at the top of the board. And then Tomac's at the top board. Then Cooper Webb's at the top board.
Yeah,
it
was a back and forth, all of them.
And then all of a sudden, Jet gets the final time again. And you're like, what is going on?
Yeah.
The qualifying race this weekend was almost as much fun as the racing this weekend. Watching these guys put together laps and just go out. But no, it's just kind of just what happened in the main. Jet goes out. Jet gets the whole shot. Jet leads. And Jet goes bye-bye.
And you expected it. Jet's got a fire under him after
some bobbles.
Yeah, he spent a little bit of time in the mental part of the aspect of everything, and kind of threw him off a little bit. So, but he said that there's been a couple interviews that I've just been working on a few things. It's mostly mental, and he's obviously working through it.
Yeah,
don't know if he's talking to somebody or just figuring out while he's riding or what, but it's working. Jet's back.
Or maybe after he talks to the piles of cash that he creates every time he succeeds, and it's like, dude, if I succeed, I get these piles of cash are fun.
I can have another Rolls Royce.
But I joke because I know for a lot of these guys, yes, the money is important, but that is not why.
No, they are racers.
Yeah.
They are purebred racers that has nothing. I mean, I don't want to say nothing to do with the money, but when they're out on that track, they're not thinking about money.
No. Well, they sure aren't thinking about trophies because God loved AMA Supercross, but the trophies suck.
Oh yeah,
they really suck, man.
But some of them trophies are just out of control.
Well, for motocross, I get it. Like they're cool. They get different things, but it's just like a little. They won the main event for the night. Give them something like you go to an F1 race and they get a crystal plate or they get a sword or they get can we have a little creativity? Why do all of them have to look the damn same except for Daytona?
Do something that's the Daytona trophies are cool, but
do something like that's for the city.
That's what I was just getting ready to say. Just take some kind of monument of the city with dirt bikes around it, and it's something cool. I mean, make them all out of bronze.
Do something. But I mean, these guys they get better trophies at Dade City on Saturday.
Yeah,
night.
how many plates number one plates can you hang on a wall? But so Jack comes out with it right off the whole shot, coming around, and let's kill a Monster Energy girl.
We honestly, Michelle and I did not see that. Somehow we missed that, but I don't know if it's the start. So you're watching Back of the Pack. You're watching.
Yeah.
I never saw it until Sunday afternoon on the way home.
Yeah, so they switched the camera right on the broadcast as they're coming around that sweeper there, and I see her carrying, holding all these signs. I'm like, she's a little close to the track. Well, then she starts walking, and this happens like split second on the TV, and I'm like, holy shit! And next thing you know, Cooper Webb's diving to the inside, and then she falls over. I cannot believe she didn't get run over.
I think, didn't Cooper end up hitting one of the signs?
Yeah, Cooper hit the sign and not her. But I mean, that shows you the skill right there.
Oh.
That he could literally, they're pulling around, and all you can see is the tower.
Yeah.
And there's a girl, and he dips to the inside right now.
And what's amazing, he'd never mentioned it on the podium.
I think there was probably, don't you dare mention that.
Please don't say anything.
Yes. I did watch the interview. The girl, they did an interview with the girl.
Okay. I haven't seen that. I saw it, but I was like...
Yeah, it's on. I think it's on like TikTok or something, or one of the social media. They interviewed her, and she's like, I've done this 100 times. I've ran across these tracks. She's like, but I was the last girl this time, and somehow I got stuck with all the signs. And she's like, I don't know if I just wasn't paying attention to the time, or if it's just because it was 450s and they go so much faster. But she's like, I didn't even think, and I just, walked off the track like I would. My question is, how don't you hear it?
Yeah.
Like, I understand the tower's there. There's some tough blocks. It's probably blocking the noise. And it's noisy the whole time.
And maybe they were braking at that point.
Yeah.
I mean...
Coming around the sweeper.
Yeah.
But, dude, she's lucky. Like,
I think the entire. I mean, I'll be quite honest. I think the entire sport is somewhat lucky because that would have been
bad.
That would have been bad.
Yeah,
it would have been.
It
bad.
would not have looked good on the sport. But I mean, she plainly said that, God forbid, something actually would have happened to her. She wouldn't have been able to explain because that would have. I mean, it might have been rough to come out of that one. Those guys were hauling through there.
Yeah, like I said, they were laying the bikes down in that corner and just
and so we get to that. Glad she's okay. It happened. It's over with. I can't believe the AMA didn't stop the race. They should have stopped the race.
Michelle asked that. She's like, no red flag on that?
Yeah, they should. My personal opinion, they should have stopped the race. That's that's an interference.
Yeah.
Cooper lost an advantage. Maybe had one of them wrecked, they might have. But still, Webb lost an advantage. He dove to the inside and then got back up on the track. So you think that would be some kind of race interference, and they would have stopped it. But maybe Mike Peloton couldn't have come up with. Maybe he didn't know the rule, so they're going to ask him. And
what rule is this?
I don't know.
Monster girl crosses track inappropriately, or
couldn't find the rule quick enough to stop it. But I guarantee you now, for one, I don't see it ever happening again.
No.
But
you're just gonna have to stay over there for the main.
Yeah, it's mind blowing to me that it was not stopped. But like I said, I have a pretty big speculation that. We don't know. We don't know if there's a rule for that.
Yeah.
Because how often you think they would know, but there's got to be. I'm going to look through the book because I'm really anxious now that the more I'm talking about it. But I guarantee you, there's something about there with race interference.
So my biggest fear, or one of those car crash things, is how they hold the sign and then they turn and they run off.
Mm-hmm.
I've always been like, no one's ever face planted. Like I always wait for the girl to fall down.
But you got somebody dropping the gate.
Yes, but I always think like
they're gonna fall.
They're gonna fall, but they don't. They don't fall. This is the closest to that, and now that I've seen it, I'm like, I don't ever want to see that again.
Yeah,
like,
but they make them a nice path.
Yeah.
To get through there. So, I mean, they give them some advantages, but it's embarrassing, honestly.
Well, I didn't notice. I can tell you, I didn't know what had happened, but after the main, the Monster Girls were all behind the press box, the podium. And Jet walked up to one of the girls, the blonde, and gave her a hug. Like, hey, like, are you okay? Like, I don't know if they were talking about it but I don't know if Cooper. But I did notice. I'm like, Jet's trying to.
Might be Jet's girlfriend.
But maybe they were, like, he just went over and said, hey.
I'm sure that. Even the way that Cooper Webb is, he's a mind guy. But you know that he had to be thinking about that.
Well, I'm sure Jet saw her.
Oh, yeah.
Out of the corner of her eye, like, dude, I thought I was going outside.
Yeah.
He probably thought, like, am I not far enough outside?
Yeah. And then, Jet has shown time and time again, like, right after a race, he'll watch stuff like that. Or somebody will show it to him. And, like, the RJ hitting him in the mud in New Jersey.
Yeah.
He watched that right after the race. He said, I thought about it the whole time. I was angry. I don't know why he had to come in so hot. But then he watched it afterwards, and he calms down instantly.
Yeah.
But that also, him and Deegan are the same age.
Yeah.
There's a huge difference.
Well, one had nothing, and one had everything.
Correct.
And I'm not saying Deegan is a bad kid.
He's got to grow up.
Different raising.
Yeah, it's when you're handed everything right off the bat.
Yeah. The fact that he was handed everything and he is this good says a lot for him.
Yeah, but you don't grow up if you don't get real life experience.
Yeah.
And that family, not that family. I don't want to, as a family. I don't think that they've ever really had to deal with real life experiences like being broke or anything of that nature. So
maybe Deegan did when he was younger.
That's what I'm saying. But as the family,
I don't.
With the kids involved and the kids actually knowing what's going on, there's never been an issue to where the Lawrences have literally, Hunter knew that he had to race or had to win to feed the family. So
that's very true.
But yeah, back to the race. It's that was wild.
It was the Jet show.
Yeah.
I mean, Jet put on a clinic. He looked good. Cooper did keep him honest for the most part.
Yeah.
Kind of the shock of the night to me, and I don't know why. I don't know why we underestimate him over and over and over again. Roxon just smoothly pulling at third.
Justin Cooper
rode good. We're about to get to Justin Cooper's alter ego, but Justin Cooper, Chase Sexton finishes fourth, kind of just fourth.
Mm-hmm.
Justin Cooper, is that his best finish?
I don't think. I mean,
450.
Oh yeah, I thought you meant for the rest of the season.
No.
I think so, but like he's always there. Qualifying, he's always there. He's out taking mains or heats. He's
a good. He was on the top of the board for a little bit in qualifying.
Yeah,
I mean he's got the speed, but that was he got a good start.
Mm-hmm.
He got a good start.
That's all it takes.
And he is a start dependent.
What
rider
happened to Ferrandis?
Has Ferrandis finished a main in 2 races?
No, but
I don't know what happened. I didn't even see him leave the track.
That's what I mean. We don't hear what happened.
Yeah, he started 9th.
Yeah, he just disappears.
He started 9th, and I don't know what happened. I actually didn't even, until I saw the results up on the big screen.
Yeah, I didn't realize.
I was like, oh, he wasn't out because there was a lot to watch.
Yeah, you don't. There's not a lot of press around him.
Yeah.
They'll show glimpses of him here and there, but when he's gone, he's gone. You don't really hear anything about it.
Jason Anderson did a Jason Anderson ride coming from the ground again.
Mm-hmm.
I think he was on the ground, and he comes back to 6th, which is shocking to me because I saw Justin Cooper in 5th, Chase Sexton in 4th, and I'm like, Eli's been here before. And Eli had put on a charge to get up to 6th.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, well, Justin Cooper is he's going to catch Justin Cooper. And all of a sudden, Eli just turned off the engine, and here comes Anderson. And Anderson got by him, and I'm like, are we going to go? And it's like he couldn't turn it. And I know nothing. I'm speaking as completely amateur guy. But he turned off the engine, and the hardness that he was attacking was like, okay, I can stay in front of Plessinger if I do this. I can't catch Anderson.
Just started maintaining.
I'm just gonna, he was literally. I was like, oh, he's gonna get to.
And he had such a dog in him the last 2.
And I was like, he's gonna get to Sexton. He's not gonna get to. He's gonna get to Sexton. He's gonna get to 4th. Cool. And all of a sudden, he was closer to Cooper, and I thought, here we go. And then it just.
Yeah,
shut off.
I don't even know what to think anymore. Like,
maybe he's at the age. If I don't feel it, I'm gonna.
And he'll tell you that. Like,
if
I don't feel like riding, I'm not riding. If I don't feel good, so smart. I mean, he's got nothing to prove at this point.
It's just weird to see him in 6th place and kind of there.
Yeah.
But I mean, or in 7th place. Sorry, but Jason Anderson, another good ride. We talked about Barsha. 9th, honestly, that's one of his better rides.
Mm-hmm.
I won't say he was in the mix, but he was there.
Yeah, he hasn't been doing well, and that was better.
And it took a while for Eli to get by him. Like, it took a while, and I must have looked away, and I'm like, oh, God, Eli's never... Then all of a sudden, the next stop, I'm like, how did Eli get ahead? Mm-hmm. He was ahead of him, and I thought, he wasn't even really... So I don't know if Barsha made a mistake, because there was a lot of micro mistakes happening in that track.
Well, like you said, for 9th, it's pretty well because the top 10 are top 5 guys.
Yeah.
So, I think last year we got a good insight. Barsha didn't get hurt till the end of the season, so he was looking really well. Maybe that's just where Barsha's at compared to everybody else.
Yeah, but that's good. I mean, where he was, kind of not really being in the mix.
But the fact that he hasn't won a main yet is pretty out of the ordinary. Or not a main, a heat.
Yeah.
Barsha usually wins a heat right off the rip somewhere.
I think it's going to be hard for that to happen.
Yeah, I don't see it happening at all. He's not. What I'm trying to say, like, he's good, and obviously the top 10 or top 5 guys. And last year he was kind of at an advantage with losing everybody, but even at the beginning of the season, he usually pulls a win. But when he's not even looking good in Daytona, something else is going on. And
he looked better here than he did in Daytona.
Yeah, which is crazy.
Yeah.
So,
but Malcolm Stewart, another top 10, plodding away. I thought I was, and honestly, like you said, the kind of the top 10 or can be top 5. I don't know if Malcolm is there to be top 5 yet, but man, I would love for him to kind of creep up there with the Anderson, because he was with Anderson, and then Anderson separated himself.
Just hold heat race Malcolm.
Yeah, and that's, but it's fine. Shane McElrath, that's honestly, it's not a bad finish for old Shane. I mean, that's not a bad finish. Adam Cianciarulo, it is what it is, right? Like, it's just, it is what it is. He's gonna do everything he can not to get hurt.
Mm-hmm.
He's gonna run what he can. He did go backwards a little bit, and then guess what? Colt Nichols and Benny Bloss, Beta, right there together.
There they are,
flying the flag together.
Colt decided he was going to take the lead though this time.
But he followed Benny a long time.
Yeah.
He followed Benny a long time. Nothing else. Kyle Chisholm, Anthony Bourdon, congratulations, 16th in a 450 main, outstanding. I mean, that's good.
Mm-hmm.
It's
with a stacked field.
Yeah.
So.
And but other than that, really, the points. Is there really a points battle right now? It's 13 points already. We're halfway through.
No, it's at this point.
I mean, we know
it's not spoken for,
right?
But he's got a pretty good gap at this point. So Jet is gonna.
The problem is, if Jet bobbles, the only person that can take advantage of that is Cooper.
Yeah, it would take Jet and Cooper both
bobbling
big time.
Yeah.
For Sexton to get back up there, and Tomac of all people. I mean, you need the top 3 to finish bottom 3.
Well, it's funny because just last week, we were touting, oh man, Tomac's only 16 points out. This is really going to shape up. There's look at this. We got guys, the top 4 or 5, 16 points. Well, now it's already 13. Then it's 22, and now it's 24. I mean, we're getting
it's gapping itself out now.
Tomac's over a race behind now. It's like, well, there was that.
Yeah, it took a big turn quickly, and all it took was Jet figuring out what he needed to figure out.
2 in a row, could have been 3 in a row had he not done what he did in Dallas.
I mean, we've seen crazier things, Eli last year, so it's going to be a good rest of the season. But at this point, I wouldn't be scared to put money on Jet, but Jet's not one for. He's good for baubles.
Yeah,
but he's not. You don't often see major crashes out of him. I don't think we've ever really seen.
Well, he crashed this weekend and just walked away from it.
I mean, you don't see injuries.
Yeah.
Out of him. It's like he's so physically fit that he doesn't get hurt, which is crazy.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
But Tomac was the same way, and look, I guess old age could have blew that Achilles out, but
yeah,
you never know.
Just for fun, Dean Wilson, Jorge Prado, Christian Craig, they are in the top 20 in points right now. Who replaces them? Because Dean Wilson's now out for the foreseeable future. Jorge Prado is not coming back. Christian Craig is not coming back. So we have 3 potential guys that can become in the top 20. Does Colt Nichols inch his way up? I mean, that's a lot of points to get when you're getting 13th or 12th. It's tough to get up there.
Yeah, and you're how many races down?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a long ways to come. But obviously, Benny Bloss is going to move right up. I would think so anyway.
Yeah, Benny's going to probably move to 15th. Justin Hill. Was Justin Hill there this weekend?
I don't know.
I saw the hauler.
I don't remember if I
don't even know. Hold on, you keep talking.
You can look and easily see, but I don't know that I seen him ride.
He may not have qualified.
That's very possible too, or something happened in qualifying.
Yeah,
because like I said, I don't remember seeing him ride.
Where's Heat 1?
I don't know.
Heat 1. Oh, right here.
It's the last chance qualifier.
No, he didn't even. I guess he didn't qualify.
Or he didn't ride.
They were there, but
which is crazy for him to not qualify. So you wonder
on such
what
a technical
happened.
track, but maybe he's not a guarantee in the top 20. So there is some potential for guys we're at that time of the season. We haven't lost the top.
Mm-hmm.
The top is still battling, but if you want to try to squeeze in that top 20,
yeah, you get some guys that haven't been there before.
Now's the time to do it.
All pays.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
and you get those SMX points.
Oh yeah, that's the big thing.
That's the big thing.
That's where it really pays.
So, racing's wrapped up. Good weekend. I'm interested to see if they'll go back. I'm guessing Monster Jam is happening not this weekend, but next weekend there. So, if Feld got a good deal on the stadium and packs it out for Monster Jam, is it viably economically worth it? Because, hey, cool, we make it work.
Yeah.
I'd like to see him go back again. I'd also like to maybe see how that works in those mid markets. But we go to Indy, which is not a mid market; it's a major market.
Correct, and Roxon's World. So
yeah.
Anxious to see what happens here next weekend.
Triple Crown.
Yeah.
So it's going to be wild racing.
I'm excited. Like I said, just to break it up a little bit. I think it's going to give some other guys some opportunities too.
Yeah.
It might be where Tomac comes in.
And then they get a week off.
Yeah.
No, they don't. They go to Seattle.
Yeah, Seattle straight after Indy.
And then St. Louis. God bless the truck drivers and the privateers.
Yeah, because they had the 2 weeks off, came in. Yeah, I don't think they get it.
No.
They get Easter.
No, they get the week after Easter, I think.
Is it?
Yeah, it's something like that. But yeah, they go.
Usually they do the Easter weekend off.
Yeah, I didn't look. I had the schedule up, but I'm kind of.
Yeah, Indy this weekend for sure.
Yeah.
Excited.
Should be interesting. It's a beautiful stadium. The downtown area is awesome. Inside parking, it's
hopefully it's not too cold up there.
Yeah. So looking forward to it. Another Supercross, and I can't say things are getting more exciting, but there are so many storylines occurring that even though the gaps in the points are not, perfect, the racing is going well.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then this weekend you guys are back to racing.
Yeah, back to Dade City after Day in the Dirt here. So anxious to get back out there. It's been a little bit. We've just done some pro stuff, so it's time for us to get our feet wet again. And
time for the kids to get dirty knobbies.
Yeah, definitely time. Those kids need to burn off some energy.
Well, very good. It's spring break here in Florida for the kids in school, so the beaches are packed, the trails are packed. There's people visiting from all over the place. On the way home from Alabama, we saw like 6 cars from Iowa.
Yep, this is where we stay home and try to stay off the road.
yes, for sure. But that is Derek Schaefer with DBS Custom Fabrication and Handyman Services. I am still Trey Heath with Michelle and Trey Real Estate. This is the Beyond the Curve, the MX podcast, and this has been episode 46. And we will see you guys next week to report about Indy. Bye-bye.
See ya.